Number 9 on this list was so essential to ancient civilizations that entire empires collapsed when their crops failed. And number 15 contains compounds that modern pharmaceutical companies are now patenting. Compounds that indigenous cultures have used for 10,000 years. If you're growing the same 3 vegetables as everyone else, you're missing the plants that actually built human survival. Hit that subscribe button right now because we're diving deep into the forgotten botanical wisdom that can make your homestead truly self-sustaining. Let's get into it. Here are 15 forgotten plants that built civilizations and can feed yours forever. 1. Amaranth, the grain that outlasted empires. Let's start with the beginning. Not just because amaranth tops this list, but because this plant was already ancient when the Aztecs built their pyramids. It was sacred food, survival currency, and medicine all at once. The Aztecs called it huautli and used it in religious ceremonies. When Spanish conquistadors banned it to destroy indigenous culture, they nearly erased one of humanity's most perfect foods. And here's what modern science confirms. Amaranth is one of the most complete plant proteins on Earth. It contains all 9 essential amino acids, including lysine that's missing in most grains. It's gluten-free, drought-tolerant, and produces edible leaves and seeds. But ancient amaranth wasn't the hybridized ornamental varieties sold in garden centers today. The original grain amaranth was bred for nutrition density, not flower size. The original grain amaranth was bred for nutrition density, not flower size. Red, black, and golden varieties that produce thousands of seeds per plant. Here's the traditional use. Grow it as a dual-purpose crop. Harvest young leaves for salads and cooking greens, more nutritious than spinach. Let plants mature for grain harvest, beating the seeds and winnowing like ancient farmers did. The seeds pop like miniature popcorn or cook into a porridge that sustained armies. This is the plant that survived when other crops failed. 2. Tepary beans, the desert survival legume, when the Tohono O'odham people survived in the Sonoran Desert. For thousands of years, they didn't do it with modern irrigation. They did it with tepary beans. These aren't your typical garden beans. They're the most drought-tolerant legumes ever domesticated. The Tohono O'odham have a legend that the Milky Way itself is made of scattered white tepary beans. Modern research confirms what desert wisdom knew. Tepary beans have higher protein content than pinto or black beans. They contain compounds that actually help regulate blood sugar better than modern varieties. Studies show they thrive on just 6 inches of annual rainfall, while conventional beans need constant watering. The secret is in their root system. Teparies send roots 10 feet deep, accessing water reserves no other plant can reach. Ancient farmers planted them with the summer monsoons, timing their growth to natural rainfall patterns. Traditional preparation involves dry farming, no irrigation, just soil preparation and timing. The beans cook faster than commercial varieties and have a creamy, nutty flavor that sustained desert civilizations when other crops withered. If you're in any dry climate, this is survival insurance. 3. Stinging nettle, the plant that bites back with medicine. Foragers know it, gardeners fear it. But ancient healers across Europe, Asia, and North America built their spring medicine cabinets around it. Roman soldiers rubbed nettles on their bodies to stay warm in cold climates. Medieval monasteries cultivated it. And modern nutrition science? It's stunned. Nettles contain more protein than any other leafy green. They're extraordinarily rich in iron, calcium, magnesium, and vitamins A and K. Studies confirm they reduce inflammation. It blocks histamine production, making it a natural antihistamine for allergies. It supports hormones too. Wild nettles harvested in spring before flowering have the highest nutrient density. The sting comes from formic acid. Harvest with gloves in early spring. Blanch for 30 seconds to neutralize the sting, then use like spinach. Dry for tea that supports kidney function. Ferment into nettle beer that sustained medieval peasants. In Denmark, nettle cultivation was mandatory by law. The punishment for neglecting your patch was a fine. 4. Good King Henry, the forgotten perennial vegetable. Let's look back. Before supermarkets made us believe vegetables must be planted annually, medieval farmers grew perennial crops. Medieval farmers grew perennial crops that returned year after year with zero replanting. Good King Henry was their asparagus substitute, their spinach backup, and their survival green all in one. It grows in poor soil, it tolerates shade, it produces for 20 years once established. And it was so common in cottage gardens that it was considered poor man's food, exactly why you should grow it now. Modern nutritional analysis reveals what medieval peasants knew intuitively. It's nutrient-dense. The shoots contain high levels of vitamin C, iron, and bioavailable minerals. The leaves provide protein and fiber. But unlike annual vegetables that deplete soil, Good King Henry builds it. Its deep taproot mines minerals from subsoil. Traditional cultivation involves planting once in a permanent bed, then harvesting shoots, leaves, and seeds. This plant asks for nothing but establishment and feeds you for decades. That's not just gardening, that's legacy building. 5. Einkorn wheat, the original grain your body recognizes. Let's talk wheat problems. When we talk about wheat problems today, gluten sensitivity, inflammation, spikes, we're talking about modern dwarf wheat. A grain engineered in the 1960s for yield, not nutrition. But Einkorn, it's the wheat that fed the ancient world. The wheat of the Fertile Crescent, the wheat that built the first civilizations, ancient and pure. And genetically, it's completely different. Modern wheat has 42 chromosomes. Einkorn has 14. Its gluten structure is simpler. Many people who react to modern wheat tolerate Einkorn without issues. It contains higher protein, more beta-carotene, and significantly more antioxidants per serving. Studies show Einkorn produces a lower glycemic response. Its starch digests more slowly, providing sustained energy. Ancient preparation was always slow fermented sourdough, breaking down gluten and making minerals absorbable. It's the wheat your digestive system was actually evolved to process, the ultimate grain for survival. 6. Jerusalem artichoke, the tuber that feeds your gut, a hidden medicine in the dirt. When Native American tribes shared this plant with European colonists, they were sharing a forgotten medicine. Jerusalem artichokes aren't from Jerusalem, and they aren't artichokes. They're tubers from North American prairies. And they contain something revolutionary, inulin, a prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Clinical studies show inulin improves mineral absorption, supports immune function, and helps regulate blood sugar. The tubers contain more potassium than bananas and significant iron content. Survival superfood. They grow in terrible soil, tolerate extreme cold, and produce massive yields with zero care. Perfect for homesteads. Once established, they're nearly impossible to eradicate, the ultimate plant once, harvest forever crop. Traditional use involved digging tubers after frost when starches convert to sugars, creating a sweet, nutty flavor. Native Americans carried dried sunchokes on long journeys. They knew a healthy gut means a healthy body. 7. Angelica, the plague-fighting root of monks, a plant from the heavens. In the shadowy corners of medieval monastery gardens, monks cultivated a plant they believed could ward off death itself. Angelica archangelica, named for the archangel Michael who supposedly revealed its power to a dreaming monk. It was used against the plague. It was chewed to prevent infection. It was burned as purification incense. Angelica contains compounds that stimulate immune response, support digestion, and act as natural antimicrobials. The root contains essential oils that modern aromatherapy uses for respiratory support and calming. But Angelica's real power was in its timing. It blooms on the feast day of Michael the Archangel. Traditional cultivation requires moist, rich soil and partial shade, conditions found in mountain valleys. The root is harvested in autumn of its second year, dried and used through winter for immune support. Every part is usable. Root for medicine, stems for candying, leaves for flavoring, seeds for next year's crop. 8. Flax, the fiber that clothed and fed civilizations. A double legacy. Before cotton-dominated world trade, flax was the foundation of human textiles. Egyptian linen was prized. Viking sails were woven from flax fiber. Medieval peasants wore it and ate it for strength. The seeds contain lignans, phytoestrogens that support hormonal balance and have anti-cancer properties. They're one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids, brain fuel from the earth. Linen is stronger than cotton, more breathable, and naturally antimicrobial. The ancient choice for health. Modern breeding separated these traits. The original dual-purpose varieties have nearly disappeared. Grow the old ways. Traditional cultivation involves dense planting for fiber. Retting separates the fiber from the stalk. This plant fed bodies, clothed civilizations, and created trade routes that connected ancient worlds. 9. Three sisters, the polyculture that outproduces monoculture. Indigenous genius in action. Indigenous scientists developed this method that modern industrial agriculture still can't beat in efficiency. Corn, beans, and squash planted together in a symbiotic relationship. Each supports the other. The corn provides the vertical structure for beans to climb. No poles needed. Natural architecture. The beans fix nitrogen from the air into the soil, feeding the nitrogen-hungry corn. Self-fertilizing. The squash spreads as living mulch, suppressing weeds and maintaining soil moisture, a living ground cover. Together, they produce more calories and nutrition per square foot. Carbohydrates, protein, and healthy fats. It improves soil structure year after year. It requires no synthetic fertilizers. It builds life. This is an agricultural ecosystem that mimics natural forests. It produces more with less work. 10. Chicory, the coffee substitute that heals your liver, a resilient survivor. When coffee became unavailable during wars, chicory root kept people functioning. But it's more than a substitute. The root contains inulin, a powerful prebiotic, plus compounds that support liver function and digestion. Modern studies confirm chicory root extract protects liver cells and reduces inflammation, the original detox. The bitter compounds stimulate bile production, essential for digesting fats and eliminating toxins. Take care of your gut. It produces spring greens, summer flowers for pollinators, and autumn roots for roasting, a year-round asset. Dig roots in autumn after first frost concentrates the inulin. Roast slowly until dark and aromatic, a legacy brew. 11. Comfrey, the compost accelerator and bone healer, the garden's best friend. Russian comfrey was so valued by healers it was called knit bone. It accelerates cell division and tissue repair. Modern science isolated allantoin, the compound that heals fractures and wounds with remarkable speed. Its roots mine minerals from deep subsoil, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, concentrating them in the leaves. A comfrey patch produces more biomass for compost than any other plant. It builds fertility from nothing. Liquid fertilizer brewed from the leaves, comfrey tea, is higher in potassium than commercial products. Pure garden gold. This plant represents the closed-loop system ancient gardeners understood. It's the mineral pump of the food forest. 12. Sea buckthorn, the berry that survived ice ages. A survivor from the harshest lands. In the harsh climates where winter kills most fruit trees, sea buckthorn thrives. It fixes nitrogen and feeds life. Bright orange berries with 12 times the vitamin C of oranges. A complete nutritional powerhouse. They contain omega-3, 6, 7, and 9 fatty acids in a rare, complete profile. The oil heals skin and heart. Ancient Greek legends said it was the food of winged horses that gave them strength. Mongol warriors carried them on campaigns. Modern research confirms they support immune function and even protect against radiation damage, true survival medicine. It fixes nitrogen, improving soil for neighboring plants. It tolerates salt and extreme cold. Unstoppable. The juice is tart and medicinal. The oil is golden and precious, the strongest medicine from the harshest places. 13. Yacon, the underground apple of the Incas, an Andean treasure rediscovered. In the high Andes, where agriculture is challenging, the Inca Empire built food security on yacon, crisp and sweet. It tastes like a crisp apple, but its secret is inulin, prebiotic sugars that don't spike your blood sugar. The ultimate sweetener for diabetics and anyone managing blood sugar. Modern research confirms it reduces resistance. Yacon syrup reduces insulin resistance and supports weight loss better than commercial prebiotics. Gut health in a tuber. It requires no refrigeration. Tubers store for months naturally. Perfect for off-grid survival. High-altitude resilient. It produces storage roots for eating and propagation rhizomes for next year's crop, a perpetual food source. Yacon represents the sophisticated agricultural science of indigenous cultures, science we are only now understanding. 14. Ashwagandha, the adaptogen that built warriors, the strength of the stallion. In Ayurvedic medicine, it was called strength of the horse, the plant that gave warriors incredible stamina and endurance. Pharmacological research isolated withanolides, compounds that reduce cortisol and lower inflammation, calm in the storm. Unlike stimulants, ashwagandha is an adaptogen. It helps your body adapt to stress by modulating your response. Resilience. It takes 18 months to produce harvestable roots. It prefers dry, poor soil, a plant for challenging lands. Entirely usable, roots for medicine, leaves for prep. It's the botanical support system for high-performance living. It represents the deep understanding of stress ancient healers developed long before modern science existed. Support your body. 15. Ginkgo biloba, the living fossil that survived extinction. The oldest story on Earth. 270 million years ago, ginkgo covered the Earth. It survived the asteroid and the ice ages, unchanged. It watched continents drift and dinosaurs rise and fall. It connects us to ecosystems before mammals existed. immortality. Chinese monks preserved it from extinction in temple gardens for 10,000 years, a gift from the past. Modern research confirms it improves circulation to the brain, supports memory, and protects against cognitive decline. Focus. It survives pollution that kills other trees. It's pest-resistant, fire-resistant, and practically immortal. A city warrior. The bark protects the tree even in fire. Some specimens are over 2,000 years old, a witness to history. When you plant a ginkgo, you're connecting to the deepest history of life on Earth. Plant the survival of the future. 15 plants, thousands of years of accumulated wisdom that we nearly threw away for industrial uniformity. Listen to the past. Modern research keeps arriving at the same conclusions. The traditional knowledge was right. Science is catching up. The resilience was the point. The survival was the point. These plants are your insurance for an uncertain future. Growth. Everything we talked about is available to you. Check the description for trusted heirlooms and growing guides. Start now. Source quality matters. The difference between real survival varieties and ornamentals is everything. Choose wisely. Drop a comment below and tell me which plant surprised you most. Are you team ancient grains or medicinal herbs? Let's chat. Subscribe now so you never miss a video on plants that can feed you and heal you. We're just getting started. See you soon.